once again, people not understanding the concept of Super Saiyan Blue. Do I need to make a separate video titled Super Saiyan Blue Explained or something? Because it's like some are not understanding the concept of what Super Saiyan Blue means. Because I'm already hearing complaints. I'm getting this video out early just so I don't even have to hear complaints. But also, just if you don't watch my video the next day, maybe you might see it and you'll be like, oh, okay, now I understand. You'll stop complaining. Because, seriously, it's really just frustrating at this point. I'm seeing already complaints. Chibi, why can Android 17 fight Super Saiyan Blue Goku? It doesn't make any sense from a power standpoint. And I'm thinking like, oh my god, like, oh. Okay. Number one, let's point out a couple obvious things in the episode. Number one, if you noticed when 17 and Goku were having their fight above the island, okay? Goku, when he was in his regular Super Saiyan form, remember, regular Super Saiyan means to where he can't really control his ki as well as Super Saiyan Blue. The whole point of Super Saiyan Blue is ki control. Ki control. Fucking ki control. That's the point of Super Saiyan Blue. Regular Super Saiyan, you have this crazy power, but you can't really control it, because it's constantly leaking out your ki. And that's the point of Super Saiyan Blue, and why Goku can use Kaioken with Super Saiyan Blue. And why he never tried it with Super Saiyan, because it would surely kill his ass. He would die. He would die. Insta-death. So, let's just explain this, okay? In the fight, when Goku was regular Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan 2, fighting Android 17, there was a scene when Android 17 pushed Goku down towards the island. 17 was starting to freak out, and when he's like, oh no, he's going to hit the island, the forest, and then Goku stopped himself in midair, and he kind of gained back what was going on. He was going to slam on the ground, but he caught himself, and he didn't fall all the way, and he was in regular Super Saiyan. Let's just point that out, okay? And you noticed on Android 17's face, he was completely shocked, because he thought that there was going to be some damage done to the island, and that was the whole point of why, you know, Android 17 wasn't using his full power. He didn't want to injure the animals, the island, or whatever, because that's why. Anything he does, it most likely could cost the island, and that is why he was holding back. But also, Goku was very aware of this, because he even states it to Android 17 later on in the fight, like, now that we're this, you know, far up, you don't need to hold back anymore. You can come at me with everything you got. So Goku was very aware of this. He understood the point of view of Android 17, and so that is why he shifted over to Super Saiyan Blue, because of ki control. If he would have continued to fight in Super Saiyan, damage would have been done most likely to the island, and probably have hurt animals or killed them, which is why he shifted over into Super Saiyan Blue. Now that we got that explained, let's just talk about, once again, to point out the fucking obvious, Super Saiyan Blue, ki control. That means, even if he's in Super Saiyan Blue, he can be weaker than Super Saiyan, and let me explain why. Because Super Saiyan Blue allows it to where he can power himself down, to where he may only be using 1% of his power. He can control his ki. So even if the fucking ki blast looks insane, it's massive, it doesn't matter. It might not have the same boost as a normal Kamehameha Wave would have if he was going all out. And because of that, that's the point of Super Saiyan Blue. That is why Krillin was able to stand up to Goku. That was the whole point of that, and once again, that's the point of this. Now, granted, Android 17 is a lot stronger. I'm not even going to deny that. He is definitely a lot more powerful than he was in the Android Saga and the Cell Saga. He's probably stronger than Cell now, which, in a way, I could see where some would be upset with that. I can understand that point of view. However, when it comes to him standing up to Super Saiyan Blue, I have no problem against, because of the explanation of Super Saiyan Blue. But Android 17 has had a lot of time to focus and do his own thing. We haven't even seen what Android 17 has been doing all these years since we haven't seen him. I mean, think about this, okay? Throughout the entirety of Dragon Ball Z, after the Cell Saga, after he was absorbed by Cell, we don't really even see 17 ever again. He's not even actually mentioned anymore until the very end of Dragon Ball Z, when he points a gun at these two and he's like, stick your hands up, and he helps out Goku, giving him energy for the Spirit Bomb. So when you look at it like that, Android 17, we haven't seen anything about his life or what he was doing in all of these years. We have no idea what he was doing. From all we know, besides just having a family, he could have been training all those years. And we also got to factor in what he is in the first place. He is an android. He was artificially created, which already puts him higher than a normal human being. And also, let's factor in that the point is, he was able to stand up to Kami Piccolo, but also, he was able to be stronger than a Super Saiyan. Because of that, that is a huge leap. That's a huge leap for Android 17 in the past. That was a very strong level of power. And obviously, since he's an artificial creation, and from what we know of androids and all that about how to sense them and everything, there is different things about them that most likely could give them the potential to actually grow stronger and be ridiculous. Android 18 obviously doesn't focus on fighting anymore or training. I mean, she's very strong, but obviously she doesn't focus on training as much anymore, because clearly she's mainly someone that looks after the house, looks after, you know, the daughter. It also helps out Krillin. She's not really a big fighter overall anymore. I mean, she could fight, but she doesn't seem to be focusing her time on training. While as for 17, he was a dude that was very strong, and he also had this side to him to where he wanted to kind of be the strongest in the group. So it would make sense that he would train. He would focus on training and become stronger, and also we have to factor this in as well. Because of him getting a family, maybe he trained and got stronger for he could protect his family. Why do you think most likely his family is not there in the first place? It's probably because he doesn't want his family to get hurt, and so yeah, that's probably the main point there. So what I'm getting at is Android 17's power-up, yes, it's kind of large. It's a large power-up. I don't know exactly on the scale of where he's at because of the way Super Saiyan Blue works, because the way he can shift his power, but overall though, Android 17, right now, he might have dedicated all his years to focus on training, which makes sense if that's what's been going on. But even then, we got to factor in he is an android. He's different from a normal human being. He probably has a different way to grow in terms of power level because of that. So let's just factor that in for a quick second. Now, with all that being said, I also want to talk about Android 17's family. So, Android 17 has a family. He has a wife, and he has 3 kids. 2 adopted kids, and 1 actual kid that I'm assuming he's blood related to. That, I was like, yo, Android 17, this dude that was a cocky character in early stages of Dragon Ball Z. Android 17, this man has a family. He has a wife, 3 kids, 2 adopted kids. Like, yo, what the fuck? Like, yo. Like, that really got me interested. And I like that characterization Android 17 has gotten in this episode. I mean, I liked Android 17's character, but there needed to be more there. There definitely needed to be more information, and I'm glad to see this being done. I'm glad that Toei Animation is actually giving us these details and actually showing that there's more to Android 17 than what we saw in the Cell Saga. And I really like what these recent episodes of Dragon Ball Super have been about. I've been loving it. I know many are probably not liking these episodes because, number one, they want to get back to the main meat of the story, which is the Tournament of Power. I could understand that, but I'm loving these episodes focusing on the side characters because this is what I missed in Dragon Ball Z. Don't get me wrong, I love Dragon Ball Z. It was a freaking awesome ride. That's why I'm here to this day, and why I'm talking about Dragon Ball in the first place, is because I love Dragon Ball Z, and I love Dragon Ball. But one of the big problems Dragon Ball Z had was that a lot of these side characters from Dragon Ball were just not important anymore. They really weren't. And I'm glad these characters are becoming important again, getting development. It's really passing all expectations I had for the series, and so just well done in giving me this characterization for Android 17. Now, with all that brushed aside, let's talk about Android 17's perspective on the tournament. Now, personally, I don't understand the full grasp of Android 17's, motive here, because one of the big things that's driving him right now is that he wants to protect animals. He wants to protect them, wants to keep them safe from, people coming in trying to snatch them, get their horns or whatever and kill them. He's protecting animals, which, that's a very commendable act. But Goku tells him the true reason of why he's coming to recruit him, because Android 17 sees through Goku's bullshit lies. He's like, I call some bullshit, I smell some bullshit, and he calls Goku out. Goku tells him the truth, and he's like, oh, okay, so whatever happens, it happens. He just doesn't really give a shit. He's like, oh, I guess if we all get erased at the same time, it doesn't really matter. And I'm thinking, wouldn't you want to step up and try to protect animals, though? All of them, if, you had the choice or option to? And it was very confusing, because from what we found out from his character, how he wants to protect animals, watch over them, and all that, you'd think he would side with Goku and try to help him out. But that doesn't seem to be the case. There seems to be more going on here than meets the eye, clearly because of what he stated to Goku, and why he said he just didn't want to join, like he didn't care. So I wonder exactly how he's going to join, because it's very obvious 17 will join the Tournament of Power. He's in the opening song. It's common sense, he will definitely join. That's a no-brainer. However, I wonder how Goku is going to convince him, because Android 17 knows the truth, but he still doesn't care. So what is really going to change that opinion? And I do want to point out, I did see the preview, and you do see that there are these other people that come in trying to snatch the animals and stuff, like the Minotauros, and most likely Goku goes with them and they save, you know, the Minotaur. But the big point is, I highly doubt that will change 17's mind, since Goku already helped him out this episode. So what's going to really happen that's going to change his mind is the question. So who knows? Who knows? I have no idea, but there is definitely something wonky going on when it comes to Android 17's motive for not accepting at the first time Goku asked him. It's very weird. So yeah, I mean, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about this latest episode of Dragon Ball Super? I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.